December 17th, 1944. The Ardennes Forest. German panzers are rolling through American lines like an unstoppable tide. The Battle of the Bulge has begun, and Hitler's desperate gamble is paying off. American soldiers are surrounded, outgunned, and staring death in the face. But then, they hear it. A sound that makes German tank commanders freeze in terror. The roar of Pratt & Whitney engines. The scream of diving aircraft. The thunder of 8 50 caliber machine guns unleashing hell from above. The P-47 Thunderbolts have arrived. And for the Germans trapped in those steel coffins below, their worst nightmare is about to begin. This is the untold story of how one aircraft destroyed 6,000 German armored vehicles and turned the tide of the war in Europe. This is the story of the Tank Buster Nightmare. November 26, 1943. Major Gabi Gabreski is pushing his P-47 Thunderbolt to its limits over Germany. His mission? Protect American bombers returning from Bremen. But Gabreski sees something that makes his blood boil. Messerschmitt fighters swarming the B-17s like vultures. He doesn't hesitate. At 700 yards, he unleashes a devastating burst from his 8 machine guns. The Messerschmitt explodes into a massive fireball. Minutes later, another Nazi fighter falls from the sky in flames. 2 kills, 5 total. Gabreski is now an ace, and every single one of his victories came at the controls of the P-47. But here's what most people don't know. The air-to-air combat, that was just the beginning. The P-47's real legacy wasn't written in the skies. It was written on the ground, in blood, fire, and twisted metal. The Republic P-47 Thunderbolt was a monster. 10,000 pounds empty. Fully loaded, over 17,000 pounds. It was the largest, heaviest single-engine fighter of World War II. When pilots first saw it, they nicknamed it the Jug, short for Juggernaut. Some said it looked like a flying milk bottle. German pilots laughed at it. They stopped laughing real fast, because this beast could do something no other fighter could do. It could carry 2.5 tons of bombs. It could mount 10 5-inch rockets, and it had 8 50 caliber machine guns with 2,000 rounds of ammunition, each gun firing 800 rounds per minute. Do the math. That's over 6,000 rounds of pure destruction per minute. The P-47 wasn't just a fighter, it was a flying apocalypse. Alexander Kartveli, the Georgian genius who designed the Thunderbolt, had a simple philosophy: build it tough, build it powerful, and build it to survive. The result? An aircraft that could take punishment that would destroy any other plane and keep flying. Pilots came back with engines shot to pieces, wings riddled with holes, tails half blown off, and the P-47 still brought them home. One pilot rammed a telephone pole while strafing a German locomotive. He lost 5 feet of his wingtip. The plane kept flying. Another pilot took a direct hit from an 88mm flak shell that shredded his wing root, fuselage, and flaps. He landed safely. The Germans threw everything at the P-47. 20mm cannon shells, 37mm flak, 88mm anti-aircraft guns. The Thunderbolt absorbed it all and came back for more and more and more. But the real story begins on December 16, 1944. Hitler launches his final desperate gamble, Operation Watch on the Rhine, the Battle of the Bulge. Over 200,000 German troops, hundreds of tanks. Their mission? Split the Allied forces and capture the port of Antwerp. The weather is on Germany's side. Heavy clouds, snow, fog. The Allies' greatest advantage, air superiority, is useless. The P-47s are grounded. German panzers roll forward almost unopposed. For 2 days, the Wehrmacht advances. American soldiers fight desperately, but they're being crushed under the treads of German armor. The situation is catastrophic. Then on December 18th, something changes. The clouds break, just for a moment, and Major George Brooking makes a decision that will save thousands of American lives. He takes his flight down through the clouds. It's suicide. The ceiling is so low he might slam into a mountain, but Brooking bets on his skill. He breaks through the fog just feet above the ground.
And there it is, a German armored column, tanks, half-tracks, trucks, bumper to bumper, stretching for miles. Brooking's wingman, Captain James Wells, doesn't waste a second. He drops his two 500-pound bombs directly into a cluster of 8 tanks. When the smoke clears, 2 tanks have vanished, vaporized. 6 more are on their sides, guns twisted beneath them, tumbling down the slope. The road is blocked. The German advance is stopped cold. But one flight isn't enough. Major John Monsenbecker leads another attack near Monschau, Germany. What he finds makes his jaw drop. Over 150 vehicles, a 4.5-mile-long column of Wehrmacht armor heading straight for American lines. He calls for reinforcements. 16 P-47 Thunderbolts answer. What happens next is a massacre. The Thunderbolts roll in like avenging angels. 128 50-caliber machine guns open fire simultaneously. The heavy slugs blast trucks completely off the road. Tanks explode under dive bombing attacks. The Germans fire back desperately. 20-millimeter flak fills the sky. One American pilot, Lieutenant John McCarthy, is hit. His plane explodes. He dies yards from the road he was attacking, but the P-47s don't stop. They can't stop. American soldiers are dying on the ground. The battle rages for hours. By the end of the day, over 115 German vehicles and artillery pieces are confirmed destroyed. 65 more are wrecked or damaged. An entire German column is annihilated. The cost? 2 Thunderbolts. 2 brave pilots. First Lieutenant Leslie Bowes understands the price of this war better than most. He's been hit by flak multiple times, survived a shattered canopy from small arms fire, taken a direct hit from an 88mm shell that nearly ripped his plane apart. He's walked away from 4 wrecked P-47s. On December 17th, he's flying cover when his flight attacks a German convoy. His wingman's plane is hit by debris from an explosion below. The aircraft catches fire immediately. Bowes watches his friend bail out, both legs broken, about to become a prisoner of war. Before Bowes can even process what happened, over 20 Messerschmitts bounce them. He pulls up to meet them, shoots one down in flames. Another comes at him head-on, 20mm cannon blazing. Bowes holds his fire until the last second, then unleashes everything. His bullets tear into the Messerschmitt's wings and cowling. The 2 planes scream toward each other in a deadly game of chicken. At the last possible moment, the German whips over Bowes' canopy. So close, Bowes can hear the roar of the enemy's engine over his own. He lands with just 66 rounds left. 2 more kills. This is what P-47 pilots faced every single day. Not glory, not honor, just survival. But survival wasn't enough. American industry was producing war machines at a rate the Germans couldn't match. When the Luftwaffe destroyed 22 P-47s in a surprise raid on a French airfield, a captured German pilot was cocky, boastful. Pointing at the burning planes, he asked his American captors, "What do you think of that?" Within days, brand new Thunderbolts lined the ramp, factory fresh. The Americans brought the German pilot back, showed him the new planes, and asked him, "What do you think of that?" The German's confidence shattered. He looked at the endless supply of aircraft and said quietly, "That is what is beating us." By the end of World War II, the P-47 Thunderbolt had flown over 500,000 combat missions. It destroyed nearly 4,000 enemy aircraft in air-to-air combat. But that's not what made it legendary. 6,000 armored vehicles destroyed, 9,000 locomotives obliterated, 86,000 trucks turned to scrap metal, 68,000 rail cars wrecked. Every German tank destroyed meant American soldiers didn't have to face it. Every locomotive wrecked meant German supplies never reached the front. Every truck eliminated meant fewer Nazi troops could fight. The P-47 didn't just win battles. It saved thousands of American lives. Soldiers on the ground loved it. When they looked up and saw that distinctive silhouette diving from the clouds, they cheered because they knew their Air Force had their backs. The P-47 Thunderbolt, the Jug, the Tank Buster, the Germans' worst nightmare. It was built tough, it hit harder, and it never, ever stopped coming.